To my good friend Courtland from 2 years ago, I felt like I got a steal this season when I drafted you in the late rounds of Low Jacks League. We were reunited at a cheap price, and you had Teddy B tossing a rock to you in your return from a brutal ACL tear. But then in your first game back, against a pitiful New York Giants squad, you were only targeted 3 times for a single reception and 14 yards. 6 of your teammates have more receptions. Even though Jerry Jeudy's injury seemed to clear an obvious path to an increased workload, I panicked in the midst of my 4 fantasy teams starting the season 1-3. I waived you for Larry Roundtree III because I was desperate at running back and hoped to steal a handcuff for a player not even on my roster. I wish you were here, my dear friend Courtland, with your 9 receptions and 159 week 2 yards. Congrats to my guy Dane, who picked you up quicker than I dropped you and has been talking shit to the entire league after posting 160 week 2 points. My Trojan brother, Michael Pittman Jr. I knew that you would have a breakout season in 2021, and that was before T.Y. Hilton went down with an injury. I made it a point to draft you, and yet I failed in all 4 leagues. I've never been a big fan of Carson Wentz, but you're a big target, a strong route runner, and the obvious choice for him to throw to. Your Colts were up against my Seahawks in week 1, and it was looking like a shootout. Your team found themselves down 21-10 at halftime, so surely Wentz would start throwing your way. But the game ended, and you finished with only 3 receptions at 29 yards. You ended up on the waiver wires in 2 of my 4 leagues, and I contemplated picking you up, opting for Mark Ingram instead. In one of those leagues, the Gang League of San Fernando Valley fame, I lost by 10 points. Pittman, I wish you were here, along with your 8 receptions and 123 yards. Fight on, my friend. Fight on.
Rodgers zips one in there for Tonyan. Touchdown, Packers. A 22-yard
Dear Robert, last season I had heard your name, but really didn't take notice until you scored 3 touchdowns on Monday Night Football. I swooped you up off the waiver wire quicker than a divorced millionaire swoops up Hollywood waitresses on Hinge. I was ready for you to become the next Travis Kelce and take my team to levels we had never reached before. Unfortunately for both of us, that didn't really happen. But this year, I felt like you were ready to show the world that there's more to fantasy tight ends than Kelce, Kittle, and Waller. Not to mention, I wanted a piece of a pissed-off Aaron Rodgers air attack on my team. So, I drafted you and picked up Gerald Everett as my insurance plan. Let me be honest, it wasn't just you, but your entire team's week 1 performance that disgusted me. You and your pals were largely responsible for my 1-3 record in the first week of my fantasy leagues. My first week as a self-proclaimed expert with my very own fantasy football YouTube channel, and the Green Bay gang puts up a stinker, including your 2 receptions for 8 yards. I gave you the boot for Elijah Mitchell and stuck Everett in my starting lineup for week 2. But I wish you were here, Robert, with your week 2 touchdown and 52 yards.
Set up my squad, wake up and pray. Turn on the tube, don't believe what they say. Get out my way, I got sleepers to play. Shooting my shot and I seen who you waved. You waving the flag, I'm just chasing the bag. All my team special, we taking it back. Doing our dance while you blaming the draft. I'm a machine, just stating the facts. I'm a machine, just stating the facts. I'm a machine, just stating the facts. I'm a machine, just stating the facts.